Hi everyone, this is the E-mini S&P 500 futures. I'm using a 2000 tick chart and a 21 EMA. I've got my overnight high up here and the overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. So starting off, we've got this uptrend here. We get a break. I started trading right here at 8 Central Time, right as we were getting that break. Now, when a trend gets a break, you can expect price to attempt a new extreme. In the case of an uptrend, that would be a new high. Now, when we get this break here, we just formed the overnight high. We're pushing off of it. It's a great place for a reversal pattern. Now, if we form a good reversal pattern, a clear failed second entry, starting from the top, first entry long, second entry long, failure, then that would be confluent with this uptrend because this uptrend would have a break and 2 attempts at a new high. So that means we would be able to look to enter short on the failure at making a new high. And so that would be a very ideal trade. But in this case here, we unfortunately don't get that. If you're looking to go short here, you only get this lower high. So you have uptrend, break, and then first attempt at a new high. You still want to see that second attempt. Unfortunately, it just doesn't form it. So we continue lower here without an entry. We go into this downtrend. Now this downtrend gets a break. So when a downtrend gets a break, you can expect prices to attempt a new low. Same thing as the uptrend, just inverted. Now we get that break. We have this push at a new low here. We find a bounce and we make this double top. Very oftentimes when you make a double top, the count will reset and then this will count as your first leg at a new low. But in this case here, it did reverse on up after this after this leg down. Now, so anyway, I do want to mention in this area here, when you have these 2 legs back, this is a good area to look for a short because you have 2 legs back. You can expect a new low for this downtrend break. But in this case here, we have these 2 legs and then we start to hold above the EMA 3 times. And on that third bar, it just gets really bullish. And then on this bearish bar, yeah, it does barely get back below there, but it's still within this chop and it's really just not clear. And when you combine that with the measured move here, which let me just redraw this here. When you combine this, how it's struggling to get through the EMA, and you have this measured move in play, that's really not a good sign. I mean, it could just bounce off the EMA and then make another attempt at that measured move. Because on this side of the count, you have uptrend break, first attempt at a new high. And so you could still make that second attempt higher right there, bouncing off this EMA and just making a small little extra attempt and then getting stopped out. So I don't like a short there. It's just a little bit, it's just not clear. It's just too choppy, too not good. Too not good. So anyway, we push on lower here. And now we have these 2 pushes at a new low for this downtrend. Now, of course, this trend line right here, this green trend line was off of this swing at the time. Let me just unclutter that stuff really quick. And we broke on through that. Now, even though we have these couple attempts at a new low, it is getting choppy right here. We're within this little downtrend right here. You don't want to enter right into that, especially right into that EMA, this line that we just broke. But we do push on up right here. And by the way, when you form a new swing like this, like when we push up right here and this swing becomes clear, you can look to extend these trend lines to see how they hold. But anyway, so we push on up right here. Considering this downtrend as a break, and like I said, this can count as that first attempt and you can get another one. I didn't like this very small picture higher low right here. It's just really small picture. It looks like he probably got out for 1-to-1, but if you know the way I trade, I like bigger picture setups. I don't like to take super small setups like that. So anyway, we push on lower here. We get another retest. Notice how to the tick you have a failed second entry. You have first entry short, second entry short, failure, but you don't want to enter right into those highs right there. It's just not ideal. Also, again, I'm pointing out this smaller setup, because it's obviously there and it led to a pretty strong move. It didn't go very far, but you have those green bars closing on their highs. But this is too small picture for us to take anyway. If we had gotten something that's closing way lower here and it's clearly holding on, then we could just take it as a higher low. Like I just view this as a higher low, we have 1 leg up here, a break, and then a second leg up right there. So that's the way I view it. I don't really care about each tick that goes by. So anyway, it is very choppy in this area here. Notice how after those 2 legs up right there, price attempts to make 2 legs down. Notice those red bars there making those 2 legs down, but obviously it doesn't actually even make a swing there, so there's no way to go long there. And it just pushes on up here. We reach the overnight high, and when we start pushing out of this range right here, when it's actually breaking out, that's when it's clear to see that we're forming a big picture second leg up. And so the measured move starts from this swing, because that's that lowest swing there, but it does kind of fit better there because that's where price starts taking off. But technically the measured move is from this swing. But it starts pushing on up here. Now when we push up, we can look for longs. If we push up and get a couple legs back, we can look to get a long. And we have that measured move in play, so that would add 2 long trades in this area. We clearly did not want to make a second big leg down. We could have made a second leg down, but price, there's something bullish up here that's preventing price from pushing lower. And so great area to look for a long up here, but it just doesn't happen. It's just too strong, pushes on up, gets to the overnight high. Clear rejection of that overnight high. Now, when you come off the overnight high, let me just reset that. When you come off the overnight high, a good setup is a failed second entry, like I was talking about over here. So we could still get that similar entry. We would just need room to this trend line right here, which we're going to get into this in a little bit. So we push up here. When we push lower, we don't get that failed second entry. It just holds on the EMA. We push on up. Of course, you don't want to go long there. When you push off of a major key level like an overnight high, you want to see 2 legs down before you enter the opposite direction. You don't want to just enter long on a first entry like that. And of course, I'm going to address this again. Even though you have a push down there, a little break back up, and 2 legs down, I see that that's a second entry to the tick. I just view this as 1 leg down. I want to see a clearer separation of the breaks. You don't want to enter that right into the overnight high, especially after an overshoot. That just makes it even worse to go long there, because overshoots lead to breaks. And so it does end up holding here though, but it might not do that next time. So anyway, we push on up here, starts getting choppy. We push on lower here, and then this point, it's clearly getting an actual good reaction to the overnight high. At first we're getting this reaction, but it's still within this trend, and so then this trend ended up holding. But now we're getting a sharp push out outside of this trend, and we form a failed second entry. We have first entry long, second entry long, failure. And this did need a limit order backed up on this bar here before dropping on down, because it was just so close with that trend line. I didn't mind pushing it out a tick, but you don't want to push it out like this. You don't know that it's going to break out that much, but usually a tick or 2 doesn't matter. So anyway, great looking failed second entry. Just needs room to that. Limit order trade looks great to me. We have 2 legs up, pushing off the overnight high, so this was a really great reversal area. And we push on lower here. We have this push down. We get this break, immediately push to a new low. So this downtrend has a break and a push to a new low. Now on a bigger picture, it's 1 leg. So that's one thing that you got to learn, is seeing big picture structures form in real time. So let me just zoom in here. Notice you have downtrend, break, and then first attempt lower, second attempt lower. So you made the new low. You have 2 attempts at a new low, and then as soon as this downtrend has its 2 attempts at a new low, you immediately make 2 attempts in the opposite direction. Now, considering how bearish, we just faded back in after 2 legs up off the overnight high. This is a major reversal area. I did not want to go short right there immediately, even though we did just fade and it was very strong. I was thinking we could get a bigger correction, because when you get a sharp move down, they're not going to last forever. Sharp moves don't last very long. Healthy trends are at a much, even this is not a healthy angle. A healthy trend is usually at 45 degrees. Those are the longest lasting ones. And so when I see this second entry short right here that rushed above the EMA, it closed above, and then it had a iffy signal bar, this is just not something that I was wanting to take, because at some point the bearish momentum is going to stop and you're going to get a break, and eventually we do get this break, and excuse me. So anyway, I just didn't like that right there, just too iffy. We push on lower here. Notice we get this lower high, but of course you don't want to enter that. We did just make this new low, so it's also just a first entry. Lower high, bad signal bar, no way. Push on lower here, make a new swing, and then that pushes us into this break. And so now we can look for a much bigger picture trade because these are our legs. This whole push down is one leg. You have first entry long and then second entry long. So what I'm thinking could happen, the reason I have this all drawn here, is we could make two big legs up, retesting the overnight high, which would from here be a very big picture failed second entry off of a major key level. But what also could happen is if it doesn't hold above the EMA, it could just form a smaller failed second entry starting from right here. So you'd have first entry long, second entry long, and then failure, which would match perfectly on making the new low for this downtrend. So downtrend break, first attempt lower, and then second attempt lower. So that's what I'm thinking there. I kind of lost where I was. Yeah, so after that break, we can look for a failed second entry holding below, like I said, like I have drawn out here. That's going to do it for this video. I got to go because I'm going to go watch the eclipse with some of my family, and I'm actually cutting it pretty close. So I'm going to end the video here, and thanks for watching, y'all. See you next time.